In this video, I will show you how to implement time series forecasting using machine learning. We will build a data pipeline that pulls macroeconomic indicator data from the United States Federal Reserve and creates a model that predicts the S&P 500 stock market index. This model will be built using the random forest algorithm, which is an agile and robust method for handling complex data relationships. You could alternatively swap out the random forest model for other machine learning techniques such as XGBoost. Overall, the aim of this video is to provide you with an example data to analysis pipeline for predicting stocks or outcomes in other domains. Before we begin, if you find this tutorial helpful, please like and subscribe to the Deep Charts channel for more videos on leveraging machine learning techniques for stock market insights. We'll begin by importing the relevant libraries. We're using Pandas for data handling, NumPy for calculations, and Fred API to pull economic indicators. For the modeling, we'll use random forest regressor from Scikit-learn, and finally Matplotlib for visualizing our results. To get economic indicator data, we'll connect to the Fred API. You can create your own key at fred.stlouisfed.org. With your key inputted, this line of code will authenticate your access to the API. Next, let's define which macroeconomic indicators we want to use. We'll pull things like GDP, interest rates, and unemployment data. These are potentially relevant macroeconomic indicators that should have some bearing on the overall movement of the stock market. But you can explore the Fred website and do your own research to identify other indicators that might be predictive of the market. The code here assigns a key and value to the indicator code that I identified on the Fred website and saves them all into a dictionary called indicators. Below, I loop through each key value pair to run the Fred getSeries function with the observation start equals 2014, 1001 argument telling the Fred API to only return data starting from October 1st, 2014. This is then transformed into a new dictionary that has the original indicator key as the new key followed by the time series data as the new sets of values. Because this new dictionary is nested within a pd.dataframe function, Pandas will transform the key into the column name and the time series data into the column values. The index for this data frame is inferred from the time series data. We can now run the head function on the data frame to check out what the downloaded data looks like. And what we see is that two columns, GDP and corporate profits, are missing some monthly values. The reason for this is that these two columns are quarterly time series data and not monthly like the rest of the variables. If we want to integrate these two columns into our machine learning model, then we need to fill in the monthly values that are missing. Two options for doing this are linear interpolation and forward filling. Linear interpolation estimates a value between two known data points by fitting a straight line, while forward filling takes the most recent value and fills it into the subsequent missing values until the next non-missing value. Here, I use the interpolate function with the method equals linear argument to implement the linear interpolation. I round the values so that there are no decimals. With the features for the model now downloaded and pre-processed, I move on to pulling our target, the S&P 500 stock market index. This is a daily time series, unlike our feature columns, which are now all monthly. I take the data frame created from the Fred API getSeries function SP500 and apply the resample function with the argument ms, which stands for month start. Then I use the first function to keep only the first available value for each month. I rename the target variable to SP500 and then use the Pandas merge function to do a left join of the S&P 500 monthly data frame onto the macro indicators data frame using each data frame's index. We can then use the shape function to ensure that our row lengths are the same. And the head or tail function on our new data frame to ensure that the merge work correctly and both the features and target are present. Before we next shift over to the modeling process, we have a final opportunity to do some more feature engineering. Our macroeconomic features are measured at the same time as the S&P 500 index, but this setup may not fully capture the true relationship, as it lacks a proper lag structure to account for the delayed effects of economic changes on the stock market. Or in other words, unemployment at time 1 would not necessarily impact the S&P market index at time 1. More likely, unemployment at time 1 would impact the S&P at time 2 at the very least, or even at time 3, 4, and beyond. The line of code here loops over the columns in our data frame to create 1, 2, and 3-month lag variables. In a more comprehensive analysis, we might test even additional lags that go farther out. Okay, now with our data ready for analysis, it's time to prepare our data for modeling using the random forest algorithm. This first line of code uses a list comprehension to create a list called features. It holds the names of all the variables that will be our x variables while excluding the S&P 500 variable, which will be our target variable. I then use the features list to subset the x columns and use the SP 500 variable name to subset the y column. The next step is to split our data into a training set for model building and a test set for model validation. We will use a time-dependent train test split to split our data, with a cut of the first 80% of months being the training set and the final 20% being the testing set. We alternatively could use the code here below, which chooses a specific split date for which we cut the data into training and testing data sets. And recall that this temporal ordering makes sense within the context of stock market index price prediction. But in other contexts, it might make more sense to do a traditional random train test split. Now, with the data structures prepared, we can use the Scikit-learn library to instantiate a random forest regressor model and fit the macroeconomic training features to the S&P 500 target. After the model is fit, we use the predict function to generate predictions for the training and testing data. We can evaluate the model fit by calculating the root mean square error metric or other metrics. I chose the RMSE given the fact that I want to pay attention to the role of outliers in biasing the predictions. After calculating this metric for the training and testing data sets, we can see that the error is magnitudes larger for the test data than for the trained data. This suggests that we are overfitting the training data in our model and have an issue with the bias variance trade-off. Dealing with this bias variance trade-off is beyond the scope of this video, but make sure to subscribe to the Deep Charts channel to be notified of future in-depth model building tutorials. From the random forest regressor model, we can also extract the feature importances to understand which macroeconomic indicators were most relevant to the model. We see here that corporate profits, CPI, and permits were the most important features. In a more comprehensive analysis, we might use these feature importances to motivate additional feature engineering directions or choose a cutoff for feature selection. Finally, we can plot the actual temporal test data of the S&P 500 market index to the predictions from the random forest model. This code uses the Matplotlib library to plot the different elements, and it actually shows that the first 6 months of the time series isn't too far off. But that all changes as the predictions do not match up to the upward trend of the market index starting in mid-2023. Overall, we've covered the basic steps that are necessary for implementing a data to predictions machine learning pipeline using a random forest model. There is still much more depth to each of the steps we covered. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the Deep Charts channel for more machine learning and quantitative finance videos.